Yes, the 5-day session of the Parliament will begin today at 11 a.m. The agenda includes discussions on the evolution of India's parliamentary democracy, celebrating India at 75. 8 bills have also been listed, including a controversial one on the Chief Election Commissioner's appointment. Now, the discussion on the 75 years of the Parliament today is likely to be opened by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the Lok Sabha and the BJP's senior leader and Union Minister Mr. Piyush Goyal in the Rajya Sabha. So that's what is planned for today. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. there will also be an assembly of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha MPs in the Central Hall for a function to commemorate the rich legacy of the Parliament of India and the resolve to make Bharat a developed nation by 2047. That's what the agenda states. Now, to help us understand what we can expect for the next 5 days, we have Vasudha Venugopal and Sunil Prabhu with us. Vasudha joining us from the Vijay Chowk. And Vasudha, it's just about 3 hours till the special session of the Parliament. And tell us what all is on agenda. Of course, there were so many rumors over what could be discussed, but we officially know the agenda. Take us through that. And on the other side, tell us also this bit, that this could be the Parliament session when the proceedings will be shifted from the old Parliament building to the new Parliament building. Yesterday, we saw the flag hoisting there.
Absolutely, Priyanshi. That is one thing that is surely going to happen because everything else is sort of tentative. Even the listing of the bills that the government did, that the centre did, the 8 bills that have been listed is part of a tentative agenda. So that's not an exhaustive one. So we don't know if all these bills are coming up and if anything separate from that is also coming up, because there is a suspicion, there is a speculation that the government could be bringing up something that is really important. But remember, one thing that we know for sure is that tomorrow, on the occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi, on the second day of the special session, we make a shift to the new Parliament. Remember, the new Parliament was ready in May. The Prime Minister had inaugurated it. But of course, the monsoon session was held in the old Parliament because it was still getting ready. And now, tomorrow, what we understand is in the first half, there's also going to be a Bidai Samaroh of sorts, like a small ritual that will take place in Central Hall. And after that, the second half of the business will take place in the new Parliament. And the new Parliament is all set to receive the legislators. So that is going to be of importance, and also of significance is going to be the first set of business that will happen in the new Parliament, because we know this government and it attaches a lot of symbolic value to things that happen first. And the new Parliament is also a symbol of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's form of governance that includes decolonization as an important part of it. So this is a very symbolic move, but it is also an important part of the Modi governance. What other things that we can expect in this 5 session that starts from a few hours from now is, of course, starting with a discussion on the 75 years of India being a parliamentary democracy. Remember that this month, this year also marks the end of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and the Prime Minister has given a call for a vision of 25 more years of a democratic India, to increase its democratic ideals, to take the country among the first 3 economies of the world. So there's going to be a lot of discussion on history and the lessons that India has learned from being 75 years of being a republic. Remember that 74th year of India being a republic starts from next year. So that is also going to be another celebration. So that is what will happen today. After that, tomorrow is the shifting, and then we do have 8 bills listed. But in the all-party meeting that happened yesterday, the government has clarified that at an appropriate time, the Women's Reservation Bill will be brought in. A lot of parties have made a pitch for it, including the neutral ones like YSRCP and BJD. We also saw the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and President Draupadi Murmu also talk about it. So there's a lot of speculation as to what specific bills could come up. And, from One Nation, One Poll, now the committee has been formed. So, of course, that will take some time. Then, of course, there is this whole thing about Bharat, India being changed to Bharat. That is also another, speculation that is sort of being, that's been around. So we don't know what are the specific, bills that the government has up its sleeves. We know for sure that the shifting is going to happen tomorrow. But what we look forward to is an exciting 1 week of a special session, because special sessions are few and far in between. And this is one of the special occasions. And of course, too many reasons to celebrate with the G20 presidency getting over, and also recording a diplomatic victory for the country, and also the Chandrayaan success. So these things will also be recognized, acknowledged as big successes of the country.
Of course, as Vasudha categorically mentioned, one thing is clear, that the proceedings are going to shift from the old Parliament building to the new one. Other than that, on the bills front, a lot is left to unpredictability. Vasudha, thanks very much for joining us. We also have Sunil Prabhu, and Sunil, as you heard, Vasudha also pointed out that there's still a lot that could be left to surprise. We could see some surprises, because there's so much that has gone around on the speculations on what could come up in the special session. And the opposition has been calling it a diversionary tactic, and even Sonia Gandhi wrote a letter listing 9 issues, including the Manipur violence, that should be discussed. So the opposition will keep on raising those issues, or what is the opposition's strategy amid this element of surprise?
Well, Priyanshi, don't want to get into what is really now called speculation, because I think speculation must be kept aside. What are the facts? The fact is that today, when Parliament starts, the Prime Minister will start the discussion for 75 years in the Lok Sabha. The Leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Piyush Goyal, will also do that simultaneously, and they'll have a discussion about 75 years of India's democracy and the road ahead, as the Prime Minister has been talking about 2047. What I think we need to make a correction in our headline. The government has made it clear that so far it has not, and I repeat, it has not listed the Chief Election Appointments Bill. Yesterday they made that categorical after many people made this, all parties had raised their objection to the bill. It has not listed it among those 8 bills that have been present. The second and most important is that, as you rightly pointed out, it is a symbolic gesture from the old building to the new building, where they'll have that, customary, which is a tradition that has happened, of having a joint photograph with Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha members. And they've called for a meeting in the Central Hall, keeping an appropriate place for the Leader of Opposition of the Rajya Sabha. And from there, they'll walk in a march to the new building on the 19th, that is tomorrow. And 20th onwards will be the proper legislative business that will start in the new Parliament House. So it's in that context that we'll have to wait and watch and see how things play out. It is definitely, interesting times, whether the government definitely comes up with a surprise. As of now, the mood, of course, is for continuing with the special session to talk about how things have progressed in the last few years, and of course to capitalize on the G20 and various other issues. The opposition will continue to raise people's issues, as they have said, of what are for them most important: unemployment, price rise, the women's reservation bill, which has got a broad consensus, but of course there are really huge concerns within the government about going ahead with it, because that will really basically mean the end for many legislatures within Parliament, because you will have to give space for that, and the list can continue. So it's in that backdrop that they will continue, the opposition, to raise people's issues on the floor of the House.